Hi, I'm Lisa. I work at Lewis and Clark Library. Today we're going to do a craft, making Christmas cards.
And my name's Eliza. I'm her daughter, and I'm here to help.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of craft programs for the library over the years together. And we probably would have done this one in person too, except, 2020. So here we are on YouTube instead. So today we're going to show you a way to repurpose some old Christmas cards into kind of a fun little decoration, either to give away or to hang in your own house. With this example, I used actually a vintage Christmas card that I picked up. It's glued on 3 different pieces of paper. My plan for this card is to send it to my sister, actually, and I'll write my Christmas message in here, and then I'm going to leave this blank so that she can fill in some Christmas memory of her own. And then in this place, I thought she could put a photo or some sort of memento, and then after she reads my Christmas greeting, she can hang it on the wall and have a little Christmas decoration. So today we are going to demonstrate how to do that. Here's another example where I've put our own family photo in the bottom, so that's an option. And then if you came to the library and picked up a kit to make this craft, we're going to show you what is in your kit and how to put it all together. It's pretty simple. So, Eliza, you want to show what's in your kit?
Yeah, so if you came and picked up a kit, you'll receive a card. We've got a bunch of different varieties. This is the one that was in mine. You'll also have 3 pieces of paper, and we'll explain what those are for in a minute here. You'll notice they all have a few different hole punches in them, and we'll show you how these will get tied together to make the final product. And then you'll also have a variety of embellishments or stickers. You may have some solid pieces of paper or just little images that can be added onto your card to make it a little fancier, as well as 5 pieces of 10-inch ribbon, which is what we're going to use to tie everything together. And we're going to demonstrate a couple cards here for you today, but I always encourage people to be creative, and if you have a card that someone sent you already that you really liked the front of and you weren't sure what to do with it, you could use that. Or if you have your own embellishments or your own papers, definitely be creative. I'm usually the person in crafts who does not follow the instructions. Today I will, but yeah, if you have your own ideas, that would be great as well, and we'd love to see them.
Yeah. And another thing you could do with your card is you could cut it apart so that you could glue the front part on and then use the bottom part somewhere else on your card as a message.
So the first step is going to be to find your piece of paper in your kit that has 2 small holes at the top, because that's going to be your top part of your card. So if you remember from the example,
that is this part.
Yeah.
And then as you can see, Eliza's papers are double-sided. So some people will have double-sided paper. Some people will have single-sided papers, or you might have a combination. It's just whatever papers looked good together and looked good with your card that got put in your kit. And it doesn't really matter if they're double-sided or single-sided. If you have a double-sided one, you can choose which side of the paper to use, but it doesn't really matter. The first step is going to be to glue your card on your top piece of paper. I have already glued my card because honestly I wanted to make sure that it would stick with a glue stick. And it does. Good news. And that being said, this is a really simple craft. It would be very easy for you to replicate it at home without a kit. All I used was, I have a paper cutter that I happen to use. If you use a paper cutter, that's great. A pair of scissors and a ruler works just as well. A hole punch to punch the holes, and a glue stick. And that's really all you need for this craft. These cards are 4 inches by 5 inches, slightly over 5 inches. And the paper that we cut is a 6 by 6 square. And that was, because I used a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, so that was like this the easiest way to cut it. Just 6 by 6 squares, the card fits, you have room around the edge for embellishment or to write, so that works out great. It doesn't have to be this size. You can see on some of these examples, because the cards are different shapes or different sizes. This example, I have a piece of cardstock for the back. I cut another colored piece of paper to put on top, and then I ended up with about a 1/2 inch border. So you can do that. This one is one that I was starting to make, and I made, as you can see, a pretty small border around my card, and then discovered I don't really have room to punch my holes without punching them over my card. So that's something to think about too. I'm sure I'll figure out a way to use it. It just may not be exactly like this. So, so again, this paper is a 6 by 6 square. And the holes were punched 1/2 inch in and 1/2 inch up. And then the two, we just sort of eyeballed it in the middle. I sometimes measure and I sometimes don't. So,
Also, pause, I did measure.
okay. Okay. Thank you. She punched those holes. She measured. Okay, so Eliza is going to glue her card to her top paper, and mine is already done.
Okay, so we're gonna get started building our card now. So as I mentioned before, there are already hole punches in all of your pieces of paper. So I'm just gonna lay them out so that we can see how they all go together. So your top piece of paper is going to have punches on both the top and the bottom, but the top ones are going to be closer together, and that's where the little hanger is going to be. So we're gonna tie a ribbon in that at the end, and this is where it will hang from. So this is my top piece of paper. So I'm gonna lay that at the top. Then you're gonna look for your piece of paper that also has 4 hole punches, but 1 in each corner. That's your middle piece, because we're going to tie it to the top and to the bottom. So I'm gonna lay that here in the middle. And then the piece that's left only has 2 punches. You'll put those facing toward the top. Those are going to tie to your middle piece of paper, and we'll put that here at the bottom. So now at this point, you can decide how you want your card to look, how you want to embellish it, where you want to place the card that you were provided. In our examples, we have the card at the top piece of paper, but you could really put it anywhere, whatever works for you. So we're just gonna take a couple minutes here to sort of plan and figure out where we want our things to go. You're going to embellish all the pieces of paper, use a glue stick to glue down your card and any other pieces of paper, put the stickers down, probably write anything on it that you'd like to, and you're gonna decorate these 3 pieces of paper, and then we will tell you how to tie them together.
Yeah. So you probably have some pieces of solid paper. These can be good if you have a piece of paper that has a lot of pattern on it and you want to write something, or you want one of your embellishments to show up better. So you can play around with that. I am going to put a photo on my card. And so this is the photo I have, and I think I'm going to put it on my bottom card. I might decide that it doesn't show up very well on this printed piece of paper, so I might choose to put some sort of background on it. So that's what we're going to do. Your glue stick should work for everything. Yeah, so should we get started and make some cards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to start decorating my pieces of paper. I'm going to start with my top piece.
How do you know it's the top piece?
So as a reminder, the top piece has these two holes that are closer together at the top. That's where your hanger is going to be tied. And then these two holes right here are where we're going to attach it to the middle piece of paper. So I'm going to decorate this one first. I am going to put my card on this one. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of embellishment. So I'm going to make a little place where I can write something. Make a little caption maybe. So let's see. Something like that. Glue on there. Put some glue on here.
And you're not worrying too much about measuring?
I never do.
No, just kind of eyeball it.
Okay. And then I think I will use maybe this sticker. And thought about putting a caption on that, but I think I'm just going to do a sticker right in the middle.
That's pretty. Nice.
Maybe I'll add a couple others just for embellishment. Like that. So that'll be my top piece. So now you need to find your middle piece. And as a reminder, it has holes punched in all four corners because it's going to tie both to the top and to the bottom pieces. So on this one, I am going to, what am I going to do?
And you also, if you have a piece of paper that is double-sided, this is where you want to make sure that you're using the side you intended to use.
Yes, good
Yeah.
point. Actually, I think on this one, I'm going to attach the envelope that came with my card.
Oh.
And that way I could tuck some photos or some mementos in there so that it could maybe have a little gift or a gift card or something like that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So I think that's what I'll do with this one. So again, I'll get my glue stick out. And I think I will kind of center this one so it's right in the middle. That looks pretty good, I think. Okay, and again, I'm gonna add a couple stickers on here. This big sticker, which I think will look nice. Right there. Okay.
That looks nice.
This one sort of reminds me of a little bit on the top of the envelope. So that's my centerpiece. And then your last piece of paper is going to go at the bottom of your card. And as a reminder, it has two holes punched in it. That's where we're going to tie it to the middle piece. So on here, I think I'm going to make this tree kind of be the main decoration. But I'm going to cut out of this solid piece of paper some corners to sort of frame the tree embellishment. I will actually fold to make sure that I'm cutting these equally. And I'm going to use these as sort of frames, something like this. So I'm gonna start by gluing these to my embellishment. Glue that on there. Try to make them kind of even.
Unless you made like little photo corners, kind
Little
of.
corners, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And then I'll just put some glue on the back You can see this one was double-sided as well. And again, I'm going to add a couple stickers.
Okay,
One last little sticker.
one more.
Next to the, put it right there, little pine cone. Okay, so now I have all 3 of my pieces decorated, and we can walk you through tying them together. Okay, so now that I have everything decorated, we're going to tie them all together. So I'm going to start by taking my top piece and tying the hanger onto these 2 smaller holes. So you're going to thread the ribbon through both holes and kind of even it up. And just tie, I'm probably going to tie a bow because I think that looks pretty. And just remember, you want to leave enough to, hang it on a hook. Or
You might want to tie a knot first and then the bow, just to keep your loop.
yeah, that's a good idea. So I think I'll have my hook be about that big. So I'm going to tie a knot so that it stays put. And then I'm going to tie a little bow just because it's pretty. Okay. There's a little bow at the top. So then I'll find my middle piece, which is this one. And we're going to tie the top piece to the middle piece through these 2 holes here and these 2 holes here. And I'm going to even it out here. And there's just a couple things that you want to be careful of here. You don't want to tie it so tight that they end up on top of each other or overlapping, because it will be hard for them to fold. So I'm going to leave, just a millimeter of space between them so they're easy to fold. And
This part's a little tricky just because they slide around a lot.
yeah, that seems about right. So I double knotted that, and mine got a little tight there, but I think it's okay. Could loosen it up a little bit here. There we go. So I'm actually going to put my other ribbon in here as well, just to make sure I have them, that I get them kind of even. And then I'll tie my bows. So that's fairly even. Now I'm going to add my bows. Again, kind of even that up. And now we're just going to do that again and attach the middle piece to the bottom piece. And if you didn't want to do bows, if you wanted it to look a little more discreet, you could just tie knots and trim your ribbons. That would look good as well.
Yeah, and even after you tie your bows, you can you can make them as big or as little as you want.
True.
And you can trim the ends of the ribbons.
So there we go. At this point, you can fold it up, and there's a couple ways you could do it. I'm probably going to go like this and like this, so that the card stays on the outside. And that's it. We've got a final product there.
Okay, so I'm working on the top part of my card. I have already glued my greeting card onto my paper. And again, I know this is the top because I've got those 2 holes at the top that will make the hanger. I'm not sure yet about an embellishment on this piece, so I'm going to set it aside for the moment, and I am going to work on my middle piece. And again, this is my middle piece because it has the 4 holes cut in, 1 in each corner. And I think I'm going to go with this tan paper and a little candle. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've been working on some paper on top of the table, and I always like to put some paper down on the table. I mean, 1, you protect the table. 2, I'm a really messy gluer, and so this way I don't have to worry about getting my glue just on the edges of my paper. If I go over a little bit, it's all right. So even if I don't have a big piece of paper to lay on the table, I almost always work with a little piece of scrap paper so that I can glue on. Be careful not to put your paper on the glue that you've gotten on your scrap paper. But also it's important to get to the edges of whatever you're gluing.
You could write something on that paper then.
Yeah, that was my thought. You could write a further message, or like I said, if you were giving this with an idea of it being a gift for somebody that they wanted to hang up, they could write something on there.
True.
And then here's my bottom piece. And I don't have to choose between what side I want to use because my paper is single-sided, which is fine because you're not going to see the other side anyway.
Just make sure you have those holes at the top.
Just make sure you have the holes at the top because, yeah, I've definitely made mistakes like that before. It wouldn't be the end of the world. You could just punch more holes, but we want them at the top so that we can attach it to our middle piece. So on this paper, I think I want to put this photo of my kids from last winter, ice fishing. But it gets a little bit lost on this pattern paper. So I think I'm going to use my other 2 solids and make a little bit of a frame. And then my photo. And then I think I'll do something like that, but before I completely glue it down, I'm going to take a look at my other stickers here and see if I want to use one of them and where I would put it. Maybe down in that corner. Flip this over. And glue. And then I just kind of eyeball all the edges. You usually have a pretty good sense when you look at stuff if it looks like it's in the right place. Glue down, and then I think I like this sticker right here. And now I'm just going to look at them kind of all together.
They look nice.
Yeah, I have a sticker left, and there's a part of me that's like, what can I do with that sticker? I might go ahead and stick it up there at the top of this. Maybe like that. And I have a sticker left that I'm not going to use, and I have an embellishment left that I'm not going to use, but that's okay because I'll use them on something else. And I also have my envelope from my card, but I'm going to set that aside too and not use it in this project. And so now all I have left to do is tie my ribbon. Okay, so we are done, and here are our finished projects. As Eliza mentioned, you can, on your ribbons, you can do bows or knots, so we tied knots on mine for a little bit of a different look. I've left this blank for writing a message and added a photo to the bottom of mine.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna tuck probably a photo or maybe a little gift in there. And then the next step is just to fold it up and give it away.
Give it away.
Or
keep
it.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us today. Again, if you're watching this video, you probably have picked up a kit from the Lewis and Clark Library to make this project. If you don't have a kit, I hope that the instructions were clear enough that you could go ahead and make it on your own. It's a pretty simple project. It's a great way to reuse old Christmas cards or purpose cards. You don't even have to do a Christmas card. You can just make 3 different pieces and tie them together for your own Christmas card. Again, we're so happy that you could join us. We wish that we could be doing programs in person, and I hope that soon we will be. Don't forget to look at our website to check out all the great stuff that's going on, even while we're closed, and check the website for upcoming programs. And if you hear noise in the background, remember that we're still undergoing a little bit of construction. So, thanks. Bye.
Thank you.